Wednesday. Can anyone tell us what we discussed on Wednesday? Somebody better raise their hand, or Adrian gonna have a hard time this morning. Adrian better. Uh-oh, they want you to have a hard time. Adrian, Wednesday we got into discussing tests, and well, he made a statement, and I said that I didn't pretty much didn't like the way he worded his statement. That's all it was. I didn't care for the way he worded it. I Did anybody take that I was saying that God don't test us? Well, good. Nobody think that. Um, but Adrian, um, I want you to think about what we last discussed as far as the tests, even though she went over it, in flesh. Did anybody put any thought into that? Adrian, you didn't do nothing. You didn't come up with nothing. Okay, maybe your pops did. Pops, did you come up with anything?
Well, we heard that statement about it's what we know and how we prove what it is.
Hmm.
And I think while we may get into stuff about the wording of using the word test, he's really giving us an opportunity for those things that's on the inside of us that we say that this is what I believe, this is what I know, to really put them out there. Because if you think about you got a test at school, what's the purpose of the test? It's not because, hey, I want to put some kind of burden on you. This is the opportunity for you to display what you learn, what you know. But like this is a confirmation that if you think you know these things, then hey, let's put them out here to make sure that what you know is correct. And if they're not correct, then you get to find out what's wrong. So you have a chance to go backwards and fix it.
Hmm. Okay. Anyone else? Van got his hand up.
I agree with Brother Battle. We need those tests. It's easier to say something. Oh, I'm a Christian. We have a lot of people that say that in this world, right? But then you see their actions don't necessarily follow. At least what my definition of a Christian is. And and you know, just think of the most I don't know the most dastardly person that you may know or that you may know of. Dastardly. Dastardly, someone that you think may be mean, a mean person. Maybe I don't know, Billy the Kid or somebody that killed a lot of people. I don't know, some famous gangster, whatever. Spoken ruthless people, right?
Hmm.
So, you would think they're mean people, whatever, mean spirited, right? But I bet you they love their mother because their mother showed them some kindness, more than likely, right? So they probably reciprocated that kindness and that love to their mother. you know, and probably to others that really love them, family members or maybe or close people that they grew up with, whatever. So if someone that is ruthless can show love to people that are nice to them, if we're Christian and that's the only people we're showing love to, we're no better than somebody that's ruthless, right? So so I think the tests come to show us that, okay, look, anybody can love somebody that loves them back, that shows them love and grace and whatnot. But when you're put to the test, when somebody treats you wrong, or in your view is wrong, or someone says something to you that's not so good, or looks at you the wrong way, or says something to your child, now we really get upset here, right? But they say something to your child that you don't think was right. Now we're upset. Now, but but as Christians, we're to be forgiving, we're to be graceful, we're to show love to everyone, you know, not not just ourselves, not just those that love us, but our enemies and those that persecute us as well. So those tests come so that we can, okay, yeah, we say we're Christian, but are we really living that life?
Hmm.
Are we really living that life? And that's where those tests come, make us stronger, things that we can work on, how we can get better at treating others the way we should be treated, whether no matter how they treat us, it's about how we treat them. And we need to keep practicing that to get better at it. At least that's in my view. Yes.
Hold on, James. Have anybody seen or heard of this movie? It's titled The Ultimate Gift. No? Y'all write that down, go look it up. And watch it. Please watch it. It's this rich fellow passed away, left his family, XYZ. But this one grandson, he made him work for here, James. I mean, he made him work for because he never worked. So he was teaching them a lesson. So the uh I don't want to give it away, but the stuff that he allowed for him or put him to the test, it because he never experienced any hard work. He never had how it feel to not have anything. So it's a pretty good movie. So uh, the I got a treat for the first person who come back and tell me what went on in the movie. Okay. Y'all don't care about the. Hold on, age. Let me get James first.
I wasn't gonna say that.
The ultimate gift.
I wasn't gonna say that till Van says but my favorite thing I like to say, love thy neighbor. I think that's one of the biggest tests we have. It's also one of the biggest things as Christians have issues with when he said love thy neighbor.
Hmm.
Because in that it's not saying just love my fellow brothers and sisters. My neighbor is everybody. So I gotta love everybody the same way. I love my brothers and sisters. Probably I need to love my neighbor better than I love my brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
And we as Christians have issues with that at times.
Hmm.
Because again, we're not isolated to just the brothers and sisters. So even a lot of Christians don't even understand love thy neighbor. So if you don't understand what love thy neighbor is, how can you love thy neighbor when you don't understand what love thy neighbor is?
So that's a test. That's a challenge for some. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question. All four of y'all said tests. Where are these tests coming from?
What you mean?
Like, where are they coming from?
Adrian said all four of us said tests. She said, "What are these? What does the test come from?" And I'm glad you asked that question because that's what I want to clear up with Adrian. Just like she just asked the question, where does the test come from? Dude, how many times have we said that? Okay, we going through something, right? And we said that God testing us. Is it God that testing us? Or is it you don't allow for the flesh to give way to something and you being disobedient? So is it always God testing? You see what I'm saying? So I think that's something that we need to pay attention to because we don't need to be lying on God just like we lie on the devil. Say the devil made me do it. So we can't be saying that, right? That's not fair. That's not fair. So that's the did that answer your question? Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mike. How long you had your hand up?
About 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
don't know why you don't like it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mike.
So we all know the story of Job.
Yes, sir. Perfect example. And Job,
Yeah.
with Job, he didn't ask for none of that, did he?
No, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
So God was having a discussion
With
with that
man.
bad dude. Yeah, that bad dude. And turned to, well, you ain't gonna let me do what I want to do. Oh, okay. Do what you do, but don't kill it.
That's what he said.
Now the test was a test that a lot of us fail at, and we fail at it multiple times.
Mm.
I'm guilty. We don't trust God. We don't lean on history. But Job, he stayed close. He didn't leave. He didn't curse God or do any of that. So I think our biggest problem is that we like to walk out the door a lot. And a lot of times when we get tested, we fail the test because we don't take the test.
We
We
don't
had no
take it.
choice about that test when we was in school, right? We had to take the test.
Yeah.
But now we all done got grown. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And so we hold ourselves back because we won't take the test.
Mm-mm. That we won't take the test.
And if you notice when you don't take the test, what happens? You get a whole bunch of more tests that come in after that, right?
Mhm.
And that's been my experience. I won't speak for anybody else,
I know what you're saying.
but uh, when God is trying to show you something and that you ignore it, or that test comes back plus a couple of more,
Mm. I got
so
you,
we
man.
got to take the test.
Hmm. Mike said we got to take the test. Brother Hannah, James ain't messing with you because we all know how he do. It's okay.
Okay, let me say a couple of things. Let's look at James chapter 1. I'm not sure if you're going there or not.
No, sir, you fine. James 1,
Okay,
verse 3 and 4.
start with 2.
Okay.
James chapter 1, start with verse 2. But James says, and of course, I'm reading from the King James, my brethren, count it all joy when ye shall fall into divers temptation or different testing, knowing this, that the trying of your faith will be patient. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. We need to understand the difference between testing and tempting,
That's right.
where Satan, he tempts us. And the purpose for tempting us is to get us to sin,
Mm.
to get us to yield to temptation, to sin. God tests us, as the brother pointed out, Job, but also we can look at Abraham. When God told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac,
That's right.
God was testing Abraham's faith or faithfulness. And so there are times when God tests us to see where we are, and not so much for his good, but for our good. To see where
Mm-mm-mm.
we stand when it comes to our faith or our faithfulness to him. And so testing is a good thing, even though we may not like the exam that we're taking. But when it's all said and done and we have passed the test, of course, it makes us stronger. it helps us to see exactly where we stand, because that's what the test is all about, just to see where we stand, you know. And so, even though we may not like the test or taking the exam, but when it's all said and done, and especially we get a good grade, you know,
That's right.
oh, and we have something to talk about,
That's right.
you know. And so, uh, so we need to remember that it's God who tests us for our good, for our benefit, but it's Satan that tempts us. And so we need to know the difference, and that the thing that puts that when it comes to Satan tempting us, it may look good on the surface.
Mm.
It may look good on the surface, but underneath the surface, it's not good. You know, everything that shine isn't gold. The grass is not greener on the other side of the fence and all that good stuff. So these are the temptations. So we need to know the difference. And so and then knowing the difference, we know that we know when we're being tested and when we're being tempted.
We should, and that's why I stated, don't make sure you pay attention to it, because you could. I can only speak for me. You know, I know what causes the flesh to take over, and that's temptation, right?
Yes, sir.
So I can only speak for me. So that is something I completely agree. We need to be, most definitely mindful of, because we don't want to be lying on God, saying God testing us, and we being disobedient, and it's something else, right?
I'm through preaching for today.
Thank you, brother Elder. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I had a question.
Okay.
So testing is the choices that we make when we hear God's voice. Is that testing?
It's do that again.
When we hear God's voice, basically the choices that we make when we hear God's voice, is that the test? I'm just asking.
I got you. Personally, I want to. I don't know how to answer right off. I'm going to say, because I think you probably, as far as God tell us to go do something, I'm not ready to go do it, but I'm gonna go on and do it anyways. Maybe is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying the choices. Like when we hear God's voice, do we listen or we don't listen? Would that be a test?
Hmm. I'm not gonna. I would say no, because see, um we can't get disobedience and unfaithfulness and all that tied up into a test. Testing is when we uh let's say you're back up against the wall, but you have been faithful to God the entire time. You're back up against the wall and you going through some stuff and you continue to do what you're supposed to do. Okay, God trying to teach you something, trying to learn you something. So look at it in more of that line and not because I feel like what you are asking, that's more on disobedience. Because we God speak to us all the time, and we ignore God all the time. I can't say that's a test. I wouldn't put that in line with tests. That makes sense, Jamal?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. Yes, sir. Hold on, Van. Hold on.
I had a manager like when I was probably like 20, 21, 22, and people would run up to him and be like, Mr. Session, we got a problem. He said, whoa. He said, we're going to delete that word out of your vocabulary. You don't have a problem, you have an opportunity. And he said, the way you see things, just the initial look, the way you look at it changes the whole outlook of what you're dealing with. So when we look at these circumstances that we say in the word test, take that out of it. Same when we take the word problem out. It's an opportunity. God is giving you an opportunity to actually show your faith, to display what you say you believe.
Hmm.
So a guy made a meme about people saying they believe or that they know these things. So he took some bags and he put fruit in them. And he told the man, get back, squeeze it hard as you can. Then man squeezed the bag, juice come out. He said, well, what kind of fruit is in that bag? He tasted. That's a lemon. Squeeze up the bag. That's orange. He said, well, look at it this way. You don't really know something else, what something is until it produces something. So if somebody squeeze you and put you under pressure and something come out that ain't supposed to be coming out, then you got to circle back and see what's in there. Because, hey, it ain't what you thought it was. You can't say that somebody put you under pressure and made you do something that you ain't supposed to be doing, because here's what you know you ain't supposed to be doing. So you got to circle back to the why. Why am I doing it? Why do I get mad? Because somebody put some pressure on me and I start feeling angry. Why do I lash out?
Hmm.
There's something there that you got to get figured out. And that's why it keep happening, that people keep making you mad. Because you need to figure out, why am I letting get me to that point?
Opportunity. Gotcha. Yes, sir.
So, just what kind of juice you produce, huh? I know.
Everything got a fruit. You got a
Sweet,
product.
sweet juice. Sweet. I'll go back to what Jamal was saying as well. I think God does talk to us, of course, and I think when we're being tested, I think, and I'm trying to guess what his question was. I guess trying to get my head around it. I guess, and so I hope I'm kind of along the lines he was speaking. So the Holy Spirit is with us, right? And it lives within us, correct? So when we get to a situation, right? So like a fork in the road, so to speak, right? Like you said, when somebody's squeezing us now, right? So we should hear, the Lord speaking to us, through his Holy Spirit, right? This is the way you need to go. Yes, that person just looked at you wrong, and that person just called you a boy. I say that because my wife always, years ago, somebody called me a boy, and I immediately came back to him. I ain't no boy, I'm a man. That kind of thing. So if someone did it now, hopefully I've grown and matured. So if someone said that now, I won't bark back at them. Try to prove to them I'm a man, right? I won't do that. Because hopefully now, you know, the spirit that lives within me guides me, and I know the spirit that lives within me guides me in a different direction, and I won't react that way. And like Brother Battle was saying, that hopefully my juice is a little sweeter than it used to be years ago. But but I did, yeah, she's left. But yeah, but I agree with Brother Johnson there. The Lord speaks to us. As we're going through these tests, the Lord is speaking to us. He has spoken to us throughout. As you study His Word, as you read, as you pray and talk to Him daily, which we all do, right? We all do. Yeah, okay. I just want to be sure. So the more we get to know Him, the more we know His ways, the more we reflect His character. And so yes, it's kind of like, I'm gonna kind of bring it. Right. Those of you who have, let's say, a father or a mother in your life, right? When you're growing up, there are things that you do. You can kind of hear your mama tell you certain things. All right, don't you go over there doing that. Don't you? I don't know what it is. I don't know. You better cut TV off when it's lightning outside or whatever. You just kind of remember those things, right? Those things are in you because they kind of ingrained them in you, so to speak. Well, God does that, right? With His Word. If you read His Word, you study His Word is within you. So when you get to certain situations, that Word comes back up, and you'll hear Him. Maybe not literally, but figuratively, He's speaking to you. And so I kind of agree with Jamal that He's talking to us as we're going through these tests, so that we will go the right path. Now, whether we listen or not, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Probably, we all could grow probably and get better at it. But I think He is talking to us.
Yes, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I think his question was within our choices. Is that test? I'm still going to say no. Yeah, I'm going to have to put it on disobedience. Um, but I don't disagree with what God speak to us. I'll share this with y'all. It's been a few weeks ago now. Y'all know I don't like to dream. I do not care for dreaming. It interferes with my rest. But when when it's something decent, well, I'm gonna say I don't like nightmares. I used to have this these dreams about dogs chasing me and stuff. My daddy said, "Cause you don't like animals, that's why they." Well, anyway, long story short, I had this dream, and it was me and brother Joe Godfrey. Y'all don't even know Joe like that, no more than from Gaines Avenue. Don't talk to him several times. But it was me and Joe. There was some others around the table. I don't know, how your dreams are. You can't really see faces, just figures or whatever. But me and Joe was talking. We got into talking about the Bible. Said, man, folks like to read the Bible, and well, I said folks like to read the Bible, but they just read. And Joe said, you know why they just read or not getting it is what he said. He said they haven't digested it yet. So I called Joe and talked to him about it and told him. He said, what? He said, well, I'll tell you what I want you to do. He said, I want you to first write it down. He said, because if you don't, you're going to forget because that what happened to me. He said, write it down and dig into it. So I'm sharing that to say, you know, was that God speaking to me in my dream? I'm gonna say yes. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. And it's believe it or not, it shed some light on this lesson. That's why when Van gave it, kicked it up. Well, how did you do it? Man, he threw me on the bus. Y'all know he did. Ariel gonna do these. But yeah, man, I do the best I can. But by that dream, it really helped me with some of this stuff caused me to start thinking, y'all know how my mind goes sometimes, but I need to get to Gail. Gail, go to Isaiah chapter 45. And I want you to, if you don't mind, we got a few minutes. Gail, what's your translation?
Want me to read out the message?
Read out the message, and I need somebody else to read from the New American Standard, the King James. It doesn't matter. Just I want those, sir. Uh, 1 through 7. 45. And I'm not trying to get away from test. Test was something that kind of worked its way into our discussion, but we need to cover this for Gail because we was talking about good and bad. No such thing as bad. No such thing as evil. Who's saying okay, Gail? Oh, she's telling me shut up. Let me read. Go ahead, Gail.
Isaiah 45. God message to his anointed, to Cyprus, whom he took by the hand to give the task of the taming the nations, of terrifying their king. He gave him free reign, no restrictions. I'll go ahead of you, clearing and paving the road. I'll break down the bronze city gates, smash padlocks, kick down barrier entrance. I'll lead you to bury treasures, secret sashes of valuables. Confirmation that it is, in fact, our God, the God of Israel, who calls you by your name.
Where is that, Gail? 7.
It's because of my dear servant Jacob, Israel, my chosen, that I've singled you out, called you by name, and given you this privileged work. And you don't even know me. I am God, the only God there is. Besides me, there is no real God.
Keep going, Gail.
I'm the one who armed, excuse me, y'all. I'm the one who armed you with this work, though you don't even know me, so that everyone from east to west will know that I have no God rebels. I am God, the only God there is. I form light and created darkness. I make harmonies and create discord. I, God, do all these things.
That's good. That's it. So you remember Wednesday, Gail? We was talking about good and bad, darkness. God created everything, but we end up saying that no, good is the bad is the absence of. So in Isaiah 45, what God is saying, he's got Isaiah is foretelling what Cyrus, the king, is going to have to go through. This is what I'm going to bring on you for being whatever disobedient. I need my people to prosper, so I'm going to bring this. I'm going to allow for this to happen. So I just want to clear that up from Wednesday, because we just read verse 7, right? Yeah. So by backing up, it gave us more details on what is taking place. Make sense? So God gonna allow for XYZ to happen to this fella because he's trying to get y'all know his work been done. So any questions? Anybody want to add anything? James, stop. You ain't got nothing else to say? All right, cool. First time for James, huh? All right, y'all on for Wednesday. I tell y'all what, I'll send it group me. Will that work?
So that went over Romans 8 and 9 too.
Who, me?
Behavior and feelings.
I don't know nothing about that, girl.
Call them out, Gil.
We'll take care of it. The test it kind of threw us a little bit, but that was still good. It's always good. All right, we have